Andeyanam. Vaishnava Saguna Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Saitam Na Nandina Vedam Viradam Krishna 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 Namaste. Sri Krishna Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Satasi Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Satasi Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham ki jai, Jamuna Mai ki jai, Ganga Mai ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samveta Bhaktarinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Sure. So now, my dear devotees, we shall read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 6, Purusha Sukta confirmed. Text 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Please repeat. Brahma Uvacha. There you go.
Brahma Uvacha.
Vacham.
Vacham.
Vane.
Vane.
Mukham.
Mukham.
Kshetram.
Kshetram.
Chandasam.
Chandasam.
Sapta.
Sapta.
Datavaha.
Datavaha.
Havya.
Havya.
Kavyamritananam.
Kavyamritananam.
Jiva.
Jiva.
Sarva.
Sarva.
Rasaya.
Rasasya.
Cha.
Cha.
Brahmavacha.
Ramavacha.
Vacham vaner mukham kshetram.
Vacham Vane Mukham Kshetram.
Chandasam saptadatava.
Chandasam Saptadatava.
Havya kavyamritananam.
Avya Kavyam Retananam.
Jiva sarva rasaya cha.
Diva Sarvarasaya Cha.
Brahmavacha.
Brahmavacha.
Vacham vaner mukham kshetram.
Vacham Vane Mukham Kshetram.
Chandasam saptadatava.
Chandasam Saptadatava.
Havya kavyamritananam.
Avya Kavyam Retananam.
Jiva sarva rasaya cha.
Diva Sarvarasaya Cha.
Brahma uvacha.
Brahmavacha.
Lord Brahma said,
Lord Brahma said,
Vacham,
Vacham,
of the voice.
of the voice.
Vane,
Vane,
of fire.
of fire.
Mukham,
Mukham,
the mouth.
the mouth.
Kshetram,
Kshetram,
the generating center.
the generating center.
Chandasam,
Chandasam,
of the Vedic hymns,
of the Vedic hymns,
such as Gayatri.
such as Gayatri.
Sapta,
Sapta,
7.
7.
Datava,
Datava,
skin and 6 other layers.
skin and 6 other layers.
Avyakavya,
Avyakavya,
offerings for the demigods and the forefathers.
offerings for the demigods and the forefathers.
Amrita,
Amrita,
food for human beings.
food for human beings.
Ananam,
Ananam,
of all sorts of foodstuffs.
of all sorts of foodstuffs.
Jiva,
Jiva,
the tongue.
the tongue.
Sarva,
Sarva,
all.
all.
Rasasya,
Rasasya,
of all delicacies.
of all delicacies.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Translation. Lord Brahma said, the mouth of the Virat Purusha, the universal form of the Lord, is the generating center of the voice, and the controlling deity is fire. His skin and 6 other layers are the generating centers of the Vedic hymns. And his tongue is the productive center of different foodstuffs and delicacies for offering to the demigods, the forefathers, and the general mass of people. Please repeat. Lord Brahma said,
Lord Brahma said,
the mouth of the Virat Purusha,
the mouth of the Virat Purusha,
the universal form of the Lord,
the universal form of the Lord,
is the generating center of the voice.
is the generating center of the voice.
And the controlling deity is fire.
And the controlling deity is fire.
His skin and 6 other layers
His skin and 6 other layers
are the generating centers of the Vedic hymns.
are the generating centers of the Vedic hymns.
And his tongue
And his tongue
is the productive center of different foodstuffs and delicacies.
is the productive center of different foodstuffs and delicacies
For offering to the demigods,
for offering to the demigods,
the forefathers,
forefathers,
and the general mass of people.
and general mass of people.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The opulences of the universal form of the Lord are described herein. It is said that his mouth is the generating center of all kinds of voices, and its controlling deity is the fire demigod. And his skin and other 6 layers of bodily construction are the representative generating centers of the 7 kinds of Vedic hymns, like the Gayatri. Gayatri is the beginning of all Vedic mantras, and it is explained in the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. Since the generating centers are the different parts of the universal form of the Lord, and since the form of the Lord is transcendental to the material creation, it is to be understood that the voice, the tongue, the skin, etc., suggests that the Lord, in his transcendental form, is not without them. So, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra, and also at the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Janmari Asya Yataha, that the Supreme Lord is the origin of everything. And therefore, whatever we have must exist also in the Lord, but in its original pure form. So we have different senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and so the Lord does too. He is the Supreme Father, and so whatever qualities he, as the Supreme Father, has, are also present to some extent in the children. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the sublime philosophy of Achintya Veda Ved Tattva, which means inconceivable, simultaneous oneness and difference between the Supreme Lord and the living entities. As Srila Prabhupada says, that we have the same qualities, but in different quantity, because the Supreme Lord is infinite, and we are infinitesimal, as Srila Prabhupada would say, or infinitesimal, as we would pronounce it. So this is Achintya Veda Veda Tattva, that we are simultaneously one and different, one in quality and different in quantity. And because we are one in quality, we have the opportunity to have a relationship with the Lord. If there was nothing in common between us and the Lord, there would be no scope for us to have a relationship with him. But because he is infinite and we are infinitesimal, the relationship is defined that he is the Lord and we are the servants. And when we enter into our relationship with the Lord, act according to our relationship with the Lord, we become happy and satisfied. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has stated, Jiver Swarupai Krishnara Nityadas. The constitutional position of the living entity is that he is the eternal servant of Krishna. So when we act in our constitutional position, we become happy and satisfied. And we are liberated. The second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam gives the definition of liberation. Mukti hitva anyata rupam swarupena vyavastita. So mukti, or liberation, mukti, hitva anyata rupam, means that one gives up all other identifications, false identifications with the body. Mukti hitva anyata rupam swarupena vyavastita. And one is situated in one's constitutional position. And again, what is the constitutional position? Jive Swarupai Krishna or Nityadas. We are the eternal servants of Krishna. So Lord Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada, the whole parampara have given us this knowledge so that we can act in our constitutional position and be happy and satisfied and liberated. So the Lord is transcendental to the, since the generating centers are the different parts of the universal form of the Lord, and since the form of the Lord is transcendental to material creation, it is to be understood that the voice, the tongue, the skin, etc., suggests that the Lord in his transcendental form is not without them. Yes. That he is the origin of everything, and whatever we have is present in him as well. Achintya Veda Ved Tattva, we are one in quality, but different in quantity. The material voice, or the energy of taking in food stuff, is generated originally from the Lord. Such actions are but perverted reflections of the original reservoirs. The transcendental situation is not without spiritual variegatedness. So again, Janmadhyasayataha, whatever exists here also exists in the spiritual world, but in its pure original form. So the transcendental situation is not without spiritual variegatedness. In the spiritual world, all the perverted forms of material variegatedness are fully represented in their original spiritual identity. The only difference is that material activities are contaminated by the three modes of material nature, whereas the potencies in the spiritual world are all pure because they are engaged in the unalloyed, transcendental loving service of the Lord. So again, what we experience here under the, I could say, most Prabhupada says, contaminated by the three modes of material nature, exist there in the spiritual world, but in their original pure form, without any of the contamination of the material modes of nature, but in a pure Shuddha-sattva state. In the material world, the three modes of nature, Tamagun, Rajagun, and Sattvagun, are always mixed. Sometimes Tamagun is more prominent, sometimes Rajagun is more prominent, sometimes Sattvagun is more prominent, but they are always mixed. No one of them can exist in isolation without the others. But Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness, is transcendental. And in Shuddha Sattva, there is no influence of Tamagun, Rajagun, or even material Sattvagun. So Shuddha Sattva is transcendental, and everything in the spiritual world is Shuddha Sattva, completely free from any influence of the material modes of nature. In the spiritual world, the Lord is the sublime enjoyer of everything, and the living entities there are all engaged in his transcendental loving service without any contamination of the modes of material nature. The activities in the spiritual world are without any of the difficulties of the material world. But there is no question of impersonal voidness on the spiritual platform, as suggested by the impersonalists. So the impersonalists experience pain and suffering in the material world, and they want to be liberated from all the pain and suffering. And they think, mistakenly, that when they're liberated, there will be no more varieties, but they'll just merge and become one with the impersonal Brahman, the effulgence that emanates from the transcendental form of Krishna. But as stated in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vimuktamanina, although they consider themselves to be liberated, patanti ada, they fall down again. Why? Yushmad Angraya, because they have neglected the service of the lotus feet of the Lord. So again, real liberation, mukti hitvata anyata rupam swarupena vivastitaha. Real mukti means that we are established in our constitutional position, giving up all false identifications. We are established in our constitutional position as eternal servants of Krishna. And just as we have so many varieties in the material world, there are also so many varieties in the spiritual world. But here, the varieties are products of the modes of material nature, whereas in the spiritual world, the varieties are products of pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva. So devotional service is defined in the Narada Pacharatra as follows. Sarvapadi vinir muktam tat paratvaina nirbalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchate. So coming back to the verse, bring it down a little. So sarvopadi, opadi means designation, and sarva means all. So sarvopadi vinir muktam, that means giving up all false designations. Tat paratvena nirmalam, and being completely pure. Rishik means senses. So Rishikena means by the senses. And Rishikesh is a name for Krishna, which means the master of the senses. Sevanam Bhakti Uchite. So when we serve Krishna, Rishikesh, the master of the senses, Rishikena, by our senses, that is bhakti. So it's natural. It's not artificial, and it's something that anyone can do. Even a child can do. So originally, since all the senses are produced of the Lord's reservoir of senses, the sensual activities of the material world are to be purified by the process of devotional service. And thus the perfection of life can be attained simply by purifying the present position of our material activities. So, yeah, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Uchite. Bhakti means that we serve the master of the senses, Rishikesh, Krishna, Rishikena, by the senses. And that is bhakti. And the purifying process begins from the stage of being liberated from the conception of different designations. Yes, Sarvapati Vinirmuktam. Every living entity is engaged in some sort of service, either for the self, or for the family, or for the society, country, etc. But unfortunately, all such services are rendered due to material attachment. Yes, they are designated because of these designations, upadhis. We identify with a certain family or a certain society or a certain country, and we feel that our duty is to serve that family or that society or that country because we share the same upadhis, the same designations. The attachments of the material affinity may be simply changed to the service of the Lord. And thus the treatment of being freed from material attachment begins automatically. So, yeah, as Lord Kapila states in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, everyone knows that attachment for the material is the greatest source of bondage. But the same attachment, when transferred to the self-realized devotees of the Lord, opens the door to liberation. So attachment is there. We cannot kill attachment. As Srila Prabhupada says, if we try to kill attachments, we become like stone. But we're not stone. We're living entities. And so there is attachment. But the attachment has to be transferred from the material to the spiritual, to the Supreme Lord and the pure devotees. The process of liberation is therefore easier through devotional service than by any other methods. For in the Bhagavad Gita 12:5, it is said that one is subject to various kinds of tribulations if one is impersonally attached. Klesho katarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam. So yeah, I'll read the translation of that verse.
All right, we have it on the screen, please.
Oh, okay. Well, let's read the previous two verses because they lead up to this,
Okay.
and it gives the context. Of the earlier verses.
Okay, we need to go to.
Oh, maybe it's not. I can just read it. I can
Okay.
just. So Bhagavad Gita 12:1. Arjuna Uvacha. Evam satata yukta ye bhaktastam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vitama. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Mayaveshya Manoye Mam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shradaya Parayo Petas Te Me Yukta Tamamataha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form are always engaged in worshiping me with great and transcendental faith. Those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshiping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be the most perfect. And then, as Srila Prabhupada was quoting, Ye tvaksharam anirdeshyam avyaktam paripasate sarvatra gam achintyam cha kutastam achalam dhruvam saniyam yendriya gramam sarvatra samabodhaya te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhutya ite rata. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed, and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone. Such persons, engage in the welfare of all, at last achieve me. In other words, not immediately, but eventually. So yeah, text 5 is the one that Srila Prabhupada quoted in the purport. Klesho dikatara stesham avyakta sakta chetasam Avyaktahi Gati Dukam Devad Bir Avav Dehavya Bir Avapyate. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. I'll just read the beginning of the purport. The group of transcendentalists who follow the path of the inconceivable, unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord are called Jnana Yogis. And persons who are in full Krishna consciousness, engage in devotional service to the Lord, are called Bhakti Yogis. Now here, the difference between Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga is definitely expressed. The process of Jnana Yoga, although ultimately bringing one to the same goal, is very troublesome. Whereas the path of Bhakti Yoga, the process of being in direct service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is easier and is natural for the embodied soul. The individual soul is embodied since time immemorial. It is very difficult for him to simply theoretically understand that he is not the body. Therefore, the Bhakti Yogi accepts the deity of Krishna as worshipable because there is some bodily conception fixed in the mind, which can thus be applied. And Srila Prabhupada, said that yes, when we engage in deity worship, we confirm that we are not the body. So I think we have, so worship of the deity in the temple is saguna worship, for the Lord is represented by material qualities. But it can also be said to be nirguna because it's ultimately it's without material qualities. So, my dear devotees, Srila Prabhupada has kindly given us his wonderful translations and purports of Srimad Bhagavatam, which we are fortunate to read and discuss. And he's given us all of the elements required to engage in devotional service and achieve ultimate perfection. As Srila Rupa Goswami, after enumerating 64 items of devotional service, says that 5 items are especially potent, and that even by a little association with any one of the 5, if one is without offense, one can awaken dormant love for Krishna. And what are the 5? Sadhu Sangha, associating with advanced devotees, Nama Kirtana, chanting the holy names, Bhagavat Shravana, hearing Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, Mathura Vasa, residing in Mathura or Vrindavan or Navadvip or Mayapur. And Srila Prabhupada also said that his temples, any temple where the deity of Vishnu or Krishna is installed, is also like a dham. And Murti Sharanvita Sevana, serving the deity with faith and veneration. And so here at the conclusion of the purport, Srila Prabhupada is referring to that 5th item, Murti Sharanvita Sevana, to worship the deity with faith and veneration. So, my dear devotees, thank you for listening so patiently and attentively. Now, if any of you have any comments, questions, reflections, you can raise your hand, your physical hand or your virtual hand. And also, I should add that the devotees who are with us on Zoom, as far as possible, you should put on your cameras so we can see your moon-like faces, and it will be a more personal experience. Good. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hi, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. So, dear devotees, please, if possible, please turn on your cameras, and we would like to see your moonlight faces, like Maharaj said. Manika Devi, please, you may unmute. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet.
Hi.
Maharaj, I have a question. Actually, I want to confirm whether my understanding is correct or not. So, Gyan Yoga, it will take its follower to impersonal realization of God. Ashtang Yoga will take the person to Paramatma realization, and Bhakti Yoga will take us to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Goloka, Vrindavan. Is my understanding correct, Maharaj?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I always get confused between Gyan Yoga and Ashtang Yoga. There's so many yogas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah, your understanding is correct. And fortunately, you are on the path of Bhakti Yoga.
Yes, Maharaj.
It's the
The
easiest
topmost
and best.
yoga. Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we got Narottam Das Prabhu, please. You may unmute.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my prostrated obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, my question is that you describe the 5 potent angas of bhakti, and I've heard that the amount of time and energy we spend on devotional service, according to that, Krishna reciprocates. And I feel that in my life, with my job and with other responsibilities, there's only so much I'm able to do of direct devotional service. And even though I understand theoretically that if we think of our work as a service and all of that, then it helps. But practically, I am seeing that it is hard to advance in consciousness when I'm spending so much time at work, not being able to perform direct devotional service and engage in other responsibilities. So how can I still work on my consciousness, work on my spiritual character, and develop attachment to you, to Srila Prabhupada, while being engaged in so many other external things?
Well, as Srila Prabhupada explains, purport at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, that one should think that whatever work one is doing has been assigned to him by Krishna. You work, and the fruit of the work is the money that you receive. But how is the money used? The money is used to, support your Krishna conscious lifestyle. And it's used to support other devotees in their devotional service. So while you're working, you should be conscious of the connection between the work you're doing and the money that you will be receiving and service to Lord Krishna. It's a very important principle. Let me just get that verse from the Gita. Yes, here it is. Text 57. Chaitasa sarvakarmani mai sanyasa para buddhi yogam upashritya machchitta satatam bhava. This is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 57. In all activities, just depend upon me. In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. Report by Srila Prabhupada. When one acts in Krishna consciousness, he does not act as the master of the world. Just like a servant, one should act fully under the direction of the Supreme Lord. A servant has no individual independence. He acts only on the order of the master. A servant acting on behalf of the Supreme Master is unaffected by profit and loss. He simply discharges his duty faithfully in terms of the order of the Lord. Now, one may argue that Arjuna was acting under the personal direction of Krishna. But when Krishna is not present, how should one act? If one acts according to the direction of Krishna in this book, as well as under the guidance of the representative of Krishna, then the result will be the same. The Sanskrit word matpara is very important in this verse. It indicates that one has no goal in life save and except acting in Krishna consciousness just to satisfy Krishna. And while working in that way, one should think of Krishna only. Quote, I have been appointed to discharge this particular duty by Krishna. Alfred Ford, Ambarish Das, the great-grandson of Henry Ford, came to Jew during Srila Prabhupada's time, and we actually used to go out together to raise funds. And at the end of his stay, when he was about to go back to America, to Detroit, he asked Srila Prabhupada what he should do. And Srila Prabhupada said that he should work because he didn't want people to think that if someone became a devotee, that they became irresponsible and did no work. And then he asked, does he have to work for the Ford Motor Company? And Srila Prabhupada said, no, you can do any kind of work. And then he asked, but then what about association? And Srila Prabhupada said, while you're working, if you're thinking, I'm doing this for Krishna, that will be your association. So that should be your mood when you do your work.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
I know we have 3 hands up, but Maharaj, I would like to chip in this. Narottam Prabhu, thank you so much for your question. And Maharaj, thank you so much for the answer. And more importantly, the verse you quoted from the Bhagavad Gita 1857 and what Srila Prabhupada says in the purport. Because I used to have the same concern as Narottam Prabhu has. Srila Prabhupada said, if someone stole, not for himself, but for his family, and he gets caught, the law is not going to say, after all, you were not stealing for yourself, so we're going to leave you free. So even though we may be struggling so hard for our families, that if we neglect Krishna, as a result of that, Krishna is not going to say, okay, you were doing that for your family, so you're okay. But the explanation you gave us is so fulfilling. And I just have to say thank you so much, because I was very much concerned about such thoughts. Thank you.
Hi. Srila Prabhupada's mercy.
Hare Krishna.
Nice.
Okay. We go to Damodar Krishna Prabhu, please you may unmute.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your lotus feet, Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, I have a question. When I study the Bhakti literature, I have the desire to learn the verses, not for spiritual progress, but sometimes like I want to learn verses so that I can quote it to the other people when we are having some argument, or quote it in the classes, or just remember them. So remembering the verses for the purpose of quoting it to others and not for spiritual progress, is that also not good, or like it's a part of Atyahara? And if it is, then how can we curb that, Guru Maharaj?
No, wanting to learn verses so that you can quote them to others is also good. It's also part of devotional service. And learning the verses, it will be good for you and also for the people who hear you quote the verses. So it's a good practice to learn verses.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. We go to Anila Mataji, please you may unmute. Yeah, you may go ahead, please.
Bolier.
Yeah, go ahead and speak, please.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Very grateful for your time. Guru Maharaj, in the beginning of NOI series, you quote that Srila Prabhupada's words are deceptively simple. And I've often been sort of intrigued by this term you use. And although I understand to some extent, because on the first reading, you feel like, yes, maybe I qualify as a devotee, but the deeper you go, the more you understand, you feel like, no, he's referring to some advanced stages, which is far away. So how?
You are muted, Anila Devi, please. Check your mic. Good.
Sorry, how do we keep reading and try to understand and still feel hopeful and, you know, continue to grow?
Well, I mean, Srila Prabhupada has given us instructions in his books that pretty much anyone can apply. And, you know, even if we find that we have a long way to go, we should not become discouraged. As they say, the longest journey begins with the first step. And yeah, in one beautiful purport in the Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita, Srila Prabhupada says that devotional service is so pure and perfect that once having begun, one is forcibly dragged to ultimate success. So you're on the way. You're on the way.
Hare Krishna. Krishna is kind. He should forcibly drag us. Otherwise, some of us are going to fall away. Vijay Goranga Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Hare Krishna, can you hear?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your service.
Cannot see you.
Yeah, you can see me?
No.
I don't know how to, I'm not good at this.
All right, you may just go ahead and speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not good at technology, you know, that much.
It's okay.
Okay, I just had a quick question actually. We are just discussing about the Gyanis and Bhakti Yogis. So the purpose of jnana leads to know what bhakti is. So the purpose of jnana is the bhakti itself. So if the person does not know the purpose of jnana or the bhakti, then what kind of person is that person considered as a jnani? Because it's still a jnani, because the purpose of jnana is to know the supreme personality of Godhead. So how can we define that person as a jnani?
Well, yes, a jnani, if a jnani really has gyan, then he'll become a bhakta. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bahonam janmanam ante jnanavamam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. Bahonam janmanam ante, after many lifetimes of acquiring knowledge, Bahonam janmanam ante, jnanavam mam prapadyante, one who actually is in knowledge surrenders to Krishna, knowing him to be the supreme cause of all causes. Samahatma Sudurlabha, such a great soul is very rare. So yes, if one is really a proper jnani, then eventually he will become a bhakta. Yeah. Bahunam Janmanamante. Bahunam means many. Janmanam means repeated births and deaths. Ante means after. Gyanavan, one who actually has jnana or is in full knowledge. Mam prapadyante, surrenders to Krishna. Vasudeva sarvam iti. He understands that Krishna is the cause of all causes. Samahatma Sudurlabha, such a great soul is very rare. So yes, if one is really a proper Jnani, then he will become a Bhakta.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. I think we have one hand up. Padmaksha Prabhu, please give me unmute.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Dandavad Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hare
All glories
Krishna.
to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thanks for this wonderful class, Guru Maharaj. This Srimad Bhagavatam verse, it's mentioned that all our material activities will be simply purified when we actually dedicate it to the devotional service, like devotional activities. It can become to devotional activities. But when you are having kids, we might have to do so many material activities which are not at all related to the devotional service. Those we cannot even transform into the devotional activities also. So how can we actually see those material activities that we may do for the kids where there's no sort of any devotional services involved?
Well, I mean, you want your child to be Krishna conscious. It's a part of your responsibility as a parent to see that your children do not have to take birth again. And yeah, of course, you have to take care of their material necessities. But the ultimate goal is that they should become devotees and go back home, back to Godhead, and not take birth again. And so in that sense, your work and the service you do for the children is also part of devotional service. Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, all devotees, for your patience, your participation, and your attentiveness. Maharaj, I have one quick question, and I'm not very intellectual. So what I like most in Krishna consciousness is stories. When I hear
What?
about
What do you like best in Krishna consciousness? Oh, stories.
stories. I like stories and prasadam, of course. But in Gita Nagari, we have a small group of devotees that we study Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita.
Nice.
And there is lots of amazing stories. So as we were studying, we came across a point where you were in the spotlight. So since you are here, I will take this as an opportunity to ask you to probably elaborate more on the pastime. That was when Srila Prabhupada gave you the service to take care of the Juhu temple. And Srila Prabhupada engaged you in raising funds. But it got to a point that you were not getting support from anybody, even not from the devotees. And there was one particular person, I've forgotten his name. He was a cheat. he had lied to the devotees that he was in touch with the landowner that were making the papers, and it turned out that himself and the person to provide the documentation for the land were trying to cheat. So at a point, you felt that you were unable to serve your Gurudev, and so you said, okay, I'm no more going to be handling this. And when Srila Prabhupada heard that, he became disturbed and asked some of your godbrothers to come in to assist him, which they did. So my question is, Maharaj, if you can shed a little bit more light into that pastime, I would like to hear and enjoy it. Thank you, Maharaj.
Well, that's a big story.
Oh,
All the details are
okay.
vividly, elaborately in my book, I'll Build You a Temple, The Jew's Story,
Yeah,
which I recommend.
thank you so much, Maharaj.
And yeah, I mean, I was doing my best.
Yeah,
We were dealing with very crooked people who were well placed in society. And Srila Prabhupada did understand that I was struggling on my own. So he sent some other senior devotees to Bombay to help. And even they became a little bewildered by the situation. But Srila Prabhupada was there, to guide us. And as you know, ultimately we were successful. Srila Prabhupada and the devotees were successful.
yeah. Thank you so much, Maharaj. So the way this, everyone should try to get this book, How Build You a Temple. Lots of leelas, lots of pastimes. Maharaj, if you still have a few minutes with us, I see 2 hands up.
Yes, I can say.
Okay. So Harichakra Prabhu, please, you may unmute.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at the dust of your feet. All glories to you and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for your class. And it's like part of the question I'm going to ask you. You partially answered the question somehow when one of the devotees asked you about the impersonalism thing. But I still need a little bit clarification. My question is, during the class, you quoted some Bhagavad Gita verses where Krishna was saying that the Jnani, even though it's difficult, but gradually the Jnani will also come to the level of devotional service. And it is known that these Jnanis are also, their goal is to be to the impersonal Brahma. And in a lot of places in Bhagavatam and even in Bhagavad Gita, some Prabhupada like seriously is very heavy on impersonalism, to the extent that he says that to go to the impersonal, to be impersonalist, you are some sort of committing spiritual suicide. So if that is the case, then how do we correlate that? Somebody who is practically who is practically committing spiritual suicide, and still that Bhagavad Gita text is saying that gradually they may come to the level of what do we call it, bhakti. Yeah, it bewilders me a little bit, because if they will gradually be able to come to the level of bhakti, then why do we refer to them as committing spiritual suicide?
Well, if they want to merge and become one with Brahman, that is like spiritual suicide. It's like you give up your life, you give up your individual identity. So that ambition to merge and become one with Brahman is like spiritual suicide. because you're giving up your life. But still, if a jnani is a proper jnani, then eventually he will come to Krishna and surrender. As I quoted, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavam Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabha. So a proper jnani will come to Krishna and to bhakti, but not all do. But eventually we hope they will.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So, Jai Bhakti Devi, please, you may unmute. Hare Krishna.
Devotees, Jai Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Greetings from San Diego, where you're so loved. You're loved everywhere, but you know that we have you particularly here in our hearts. Dear Maharaj, thank you so much for such a wonderful class. I have a specific question that has a little bit of a context. The question is, which limbs of yoga, of Bhakti Yoga, of course, would you recommend that we share the most with the general public? Obviously, we focus a lot on chanting, but my doubts come from hearing and reading what Srila Prabhupada was doing at his time, that it looks like he was really going much further, like distributing deities and doing things that maybe we would think that is not the most recommended, like for everyone. So is this something that we need to look as Srila Prabhupada's own power or what he wanted his devotees at that time to do? Or should we also follow up at our current times? And specifically coming from you, which limbs of yoga would you recommend us to share with everyone? The 5 principles, at least, is it possible to explain and recommend? Please enlighten us on this topic. Thank you so much.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, well, the 5 most potent items are Sadhu Sangha, Namakirtana, Bhagavat Shravana, Uttaravasa, and Murti Sharanvita Sevana. And, but I would say in general, Namakirtana, the chanting of the holy names, is the process that we should emphasize the most. But then from whom will they hear the holy names? From devotees. So Sadhu Sangha is also automatically there, along with Nama Kirtana. So I would say those would be the 2 most important in the beginning. But then, I mean, Bhagavat Shravana, hearing Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is also very important. But if they associate with devotees and chant the holy names, then they can come to the stage where they also want to hear or read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And then they'll be really well situated in devotional service.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. I have one quick announcement to make devotees. Maharaj, there is one senior god brother of mine here. He's in this Sangha. It's called Govinda Prabhu. He's my senior god brother. And I must confess that some time ago, when we were both in our mother country, West Africa, Ghana, I didn't like him at all. And I didn't like him for this particular reason, that because he's still a senior devotee, he's senior to me. So he created some sort of monopolistic service to our Gurudev. That he always was serving our Gurudev and nobody else had any opportunity to serve the Guru. So for that reason, I didn't like him. But later on, I realized the importance of serving the Guru personally, directly. So he was doing the right thing. But today happens to be his appearance day. So we humbly, it's amazing, almost every time I write, you bless us with your presence here. Somebody will be in a very, very dire need of your blessings, and somehow they get it. So today being the appearance day of God brother, His Grace Govinda Prabhu Maharaj, we humbly requesting that you bless him to remain a devotee and continue to be a wonderful devotee and even become a better devotee. So Maharaj, this is our humble request and prayer to you to bless our God brother, Govinda Prabhu. I don't know, Govinda Prabhu, you can turn on your camera so Maharaj may see your moon-like face, like Maharaj says. Okay, he's here. So this is Govinda Prabhu Maharaj.
Well, happy birthday. And yeah,
Thank you.
Wish you a wonderful Krishna conscious year and years to come by the grace of Srila Prabhupada and the Parampara. And yeah, I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you. And thank you, Sadhu Prabhu, for not, thank you for not liking me. But this was a transcendental dislike. So I think it was a very good dislike.
Okay, thank you. Seriously.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sadhu Prabhu. Maharaj, please, I have one question. If you still have time, like 2 minutes or so to answer the question for me.
Yes, go ahead, please. Maharaj is here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you and all glories to your service to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. My question is about you quoting Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Janavam Mam Prapadante Vasudeva Sarvam Ete Sar Mahatma Sudulaba. That after many, many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge, he surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the supreme percent of God, the Vasudeva, and such great souls are very rare. He quoted this verse to support that the Gyanis, after many births, if they are actually Gyanis, then they will come to the level of bhaktas. They will become bhaktas, they will become devotees that they will surrender to Vasudeva Krishna. So when we say, when Krishna says, surrender to me, he also said the same thing, Sarva Dhammam Pariyate Jamame Kamsa Namraja. He says, surrender to me. And this quote also says, they will surrender to me. So he's still emphasizing on this point of surrender. And there are many, many places that this surrendering points is coming out by Krishna and also the revealed acharyas. So when we say someone has surrendered to the Lord, what does it actually mean? I'm asking this because everybody feels he surrendered. All the other religious denominations, they all think that they have surrendered to the Lord because they believe in him, they worship him, they adore him. So In their minds, they think they have surrendered to the Lord. And that is the goal of the devotional service, or the goal of anybody trying to serve God, is to actually love him. And Christians say to love him, you must surrender. So in our devotional service, this bhakti process, so many guidelines has been given by the previous acharyas in the scriptures as to how we can surrender. So when we say surrender, Christians surrender to me, what does it actually mean? Please.
Yeah, well, to surrender to Krishna means to follow his instructions. And yeah, and it means in our case to follow the process of bhakti yoga, as it has been explained to us by Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Prabhupada in the Nectar of Devotion, which Srila Prabhupada called the complete science of bhakti yoga. So if we do that, then follow Krishna's instructions and the instructions of his representatives, then that is surrender. As far as other religious traditions, they, to surrender to God, you have to know who God is and what he wants. And so it's a question in the other religious traditions to what extent they know who God is and what he wants. But as Srila Prabhupada said, you can remain whatever you are, Hindu, Christian, Muslim, and add Krishna consciousness, and become a better Hindu, a better Christian, better Muslim. Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yes, I know that to surrender to Krishna or to surrender to anybody else is to follow the person's instructions. So to surrender to God means to follow the laws of God. To surrender to the state in which one may live means to be a very good citizen. If you're a good citizen, then the government will love you, will protect you. So that one aspect is there. So like in Krishna consciousness, there are 4 regulative principles that we follow and chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So one may follow the 4 regulative principles very strictly. One may be chanting his 16 rounds unfailingly. But anytime there is any adverse situation, like, I want things to go this way for me, and it has turned this way, then I become morose, I become disturbed. Why not this by that? All these situations, material circumstances may come, and we always fall prey into those things. You become disturbed, you become morose, someone may lose his job. And Krishna says, I'm the cause of all causes. We attributed that Krishna has made me lost my job. And if so, then why am I disturbed? But I'll become disturbed. Like I lost my children. Somebody has died in my family. I'm disturbed. There are so many disturbances that goes along with one attempt to follow the instructions of Krishna. So that the surrender actually comes with all these things, that whatever comes, one should remain steady and not be disturbed. And if we don't have that understanding and we are not practicing that, can we still call ourselves as a surrendered souls to the Lord?
Well, yes, ideally, we should remain fixed in Krishna consciousness in all circumstances. But there was once a very interesting conversation between Srila Prabhupada and the editor of a weekly newspaper in Mauritius. And the editor raised the question that Arjuna heard the Bhagavad Gita from Krishna. And he said that he understood the Bhagavad Gita from Krishna. But when he heard that his son was killed, he was ready to enter into the fire. So that newspaper editor said, isn't it ridiculous that he received the knowledge and he was going to act in such a contrary way? But Srila Prabhupada replied that no, he said temporarily Arjuna might have been affected. He said that's natural. Anyone will be affected. But still, Arjuna did not give up his duty. He did not leave the war field and give up his duty. And Srila Prabhupada said that was his victory. So, yeah, we might be affected by these temporary circumstances. As Srila Prabhupada said, that's natural. But still, if we don't give up our duty, even in the face of the reverses, that is our victory.
All right. Thank you. This is a perfect question.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
So, dear devotees, we would like to bring this Sangha to a close, but before we do that, we have a very, very short video that we'd like to play for you. After that, we will chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to Maharaj. So please don't leave yet. Hang on for a couple more minutes, please. And please, if you've already unmuted, please mute yourself so that we hear the content of the video, please. Hare Krishna.
You should write. This is your first business. Go on writing.
This instruction was given to His Holiness Giriraj Swami personally by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada in 1971 and repeated over the years. In more than 5 decades since, Giriraj Swami has served Srila Prabhupada faithfully and tirelessly, sharing his experiences and realizations with us in his books. Have you ever wondered how service to God relates to service to man? What was Srila Prabhupada's vision that led people around the world to chant Krishna's names?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Watering the seed is an invaluable offering to all aspirants on the path of devotion. With many wonderful personal exchanges between Srila Prabhupada and his dear disciple, Giriraj Swami kindly shares his realizations with the honesty, wisdom, and humility for which he is known and loved. It transports us into Srila Prabhupada's intimate association during some of the most historic moments of ISKCON's development.
It's like in the sky there is one moon only, and there are millions of stars. But one more, dissipate the whole darkness of the night. Similarly, at least those who are taken to Krishna consciousness, each of you become a moon and enlighten the world.
Oh hey Vaishnava Guru, Yara Saguru, Dase Guru. Oh hey Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Edase Karuna Kari.
The great souls described in these pages are bright full moons of Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Their lives are living instructions, their activities chandrikas, cooling, illuminating moonbeams of Vaishnava sharing, teaching, and realization.
With their unconditional love and dedication to Srila Prabhupada, these personalities built this worldwide movement and gifted it to us to be nurtured by it and to serve.
An exclusive treatise on one's last days of life. That gives readers the resource to face death squarely. And deal successfully with that often fearful and painful, but also saving moment. Down to earth and practical as well as scriptural, both fresh and mature, it draws us in with superb narrative and also answers tough questions about death and dying.
Drawing from both spiritual leaders and experts in the field of hospice and palliative medicine, life's final exam has universal application.
One of the most important books about Srila Prabhupada. It's about Srila Prabhupada and his Leela of years of heartbreak and struggle in Juhu, Mumbai. No one else can write this book. like His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj.
Srila Prabhupada's struggle to establish Hare Krishna land and build a temple for Sri Sri Radha Rasa Bihari in Juhu on the outskirts of Bombay was perhaps the greatest effort of his preaching movement. By the strength of his desire, an overgrown plot of land in what had been a remote fishing village, infested with rats, snakes, and mosquitoes, became a place of pilgrimage and devotional service. And after a prolonged and arduous but victorious struggle, when the conveyance was finally signed, he declared, "It was a good fight. Someone should write a book about it."
I'll Build You a Temple transports us into one of the great events of our time. It is a story of surrender on the path of pure love, an incomparable story that many have tried to relate, but which no one will ever be able to tell, like His Holiness Giriraj Swami.
From the beginning, Giriraj Swami served the Juhu project in various roles for 30 years and spent years researching, writing, and preparing the book for publication. It is part of ISKCON history, a complement to Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita.
This book is a page turner to the highest degree. Once you begin, you just can't put it down.
In 1971, Srila Prabhupada directed young Giriraj Brahmachari, "You should write. This is your first business," an instruction he repeated over the years. Now, 52 years after Srila Prabhupada's order, and following both His Divine Grace's instruction that one may temporarily suspend the order of the spiritual master, but one should never neglect it, and his example that just like my Guru Maharaj gave me the order to write, though I have no time, I am always thinking of his order, and when the opportunity arises, I will take it up again. Giriraj Swami has written his 5th book, Dancing White Elephants. Traveling with Srila Prabhupada in India, August 1970 to March 1972. Covering visits to Amritsar, Indore, Surat, Bombay, Calcutta, Allahabad, Gorakhpur, Delhi, Madras, and Mayapur. In some 400 pages of text and 17 images, Dancing White Elephants, with the foreword by Malati Dasi, who was present for most of the adventures, will captivate the minds and hearts of readers and increase their attachment to and love for Srila Prabhupada and his white elephants, his disciples who helped him in his mission.
Through Maharaj's carefully chosen words, you will see the exquisite sights and feel like you are living the experiences that were part of establishing the Hare Krishna movement in India. You will meet incredible devotees who became pillars of this movement through their own storied spiritual growth and advancement, and be introduced to seemingly ordinary persons whose lives became transformed by contact with Prabhupada and his dancing white elephants, just as he envisioned.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri श्रीयुता पदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजा।
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, we thank you all for your patience and Maharaj, we can't thank you enough for your love, your wisdom, your dedication. Your love for Srila Prabhupada and extending that love to all of us and to humanity at large. I know as insignificant as I am, as well as almost all of us here, I believe the best way we can truly appreciate our love for you is to please you by pleasing Srila Prabhupada. So we pray at your lotus feet that you bless us to be able to please Srila Prabhupada, that no matter what, we stay in the house of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Right. Wonderful, beautiful.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada bless you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation from God, except if someone wanted to say something briefly about the short clip we watched. If someone wants to say something briefly about the clip we watched, please you may do so. All right, Jai Bhakti Devi, please unmute and go ahead to speak.
Hare Krishna. I just wanted to say thank you so much to Maharaj for everything you have done for Srila Prabhupada, for the movement, for the work, for all of us. Thank you so much. Dandavats at your lotus feet. Jai Srila Prabhupada. And to all the devotees, I want to suggest to please copy this link from the chat in this Zoom before the meeting ends. Copy it to your notes, to any place in your computer or your phone, and then you can share that link in your Facebook and all your social media. You will be helping so much Maharaj to do his service. You will be helping Srila Prabhupada. You will be helping the entire world. These books need to be distributed. This is an amazing video that really helps people to understand and motivates to buy those books. So please share it, distribute it. You are used to share anything in your social media. Please use it wisely and share this. Thank you so much for letting me suggest a humble opinion. Thank you so much. Haribol, Hare Krishna. Dandavats to all of
Thank you
you.
so much, Jai Bhakti Devi. Well, I don't think that was your suggestion. It was Krishna speaking through you. So thank you. Devotees, please, you may all go to the chat room and you'll find the link to this video. You copy it before the class ends so you don't lose it. It's very, very rich, very, very helpful. So on this note, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute and we all chant the loudest Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to our revered speaker, His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj, for his love, wisdom, and blessings to us all today. Jai. Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram.
Thank you, dear Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Thank
you so much, Guru
Thanks, Maharaj. Thank devotees.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj, for giving us Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you so much, Guru.
All glories to His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj Ki.
Jai.
Jai.
Thank you, Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you.
Now, if we're ending now, which we
Yes,
are, I suggest we conclude with Vaishnava Pranam. I heard some devotees were saying it.
Okay.
But I would like to do that.
All right.
Vanshika,
Patitana Pavanevio Vaishnavevio Namo Namaha.
Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrindiki.
Jai.
Jai.
Hey Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you.
Gira
Thank
Swami
you.
Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Hey Krishna.
Hare Krishna.